The UK is not only renowned for its ancient castles, eerie forests, and ghost-filled villages, it also harbors some of the most haunted radio stations in the world. From BBC's historic studios to pirate radio ships lost at sea, these broadcasting hubs are rife with chilling tales of phantom footsteps, vanishing figures, and voices that echo through the airwaves long after the mics are turned off. Now we will visit the most haunted radio stations in the UK. Number 1, BBC Broadcasting House, London. Standing tall in the heart of London, BBC Broadcasting House is more than just the nerve center of British broadcasting. It's one of the most haunted radio stations in the UK. This historic building has seen decades of news, drama, and music, but it has also witnessed strange and chilling events that many believe are paranormal. Built in the early 1930s, Broadcasting House has long been associated with ghost stories. The most famous ghost is the Grey Lady, believed to be the spirit of a former actress. Many staff members have claimed to see her wandering the halls, especially near the old radio drama studios. She's often seen wearing period clothing and vanishes when approached. Another terrifying tale involves phantom footsteps echoing through empty corridors late at night. Technicians working the night shift have heard footsteps approach, only to find no one there. Lights flicker for no reason. Elevators move on their own, and cold spots suddenly appear in rooms that should be warm. During World War II, part of the building was damaged by a bomb. Some believe the spirits of those who died in the blast still linger, especially on the upper floors. Staff have reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing whispering voices when the studios are supposed to be empty. Even today, presenters and visitors feel an unsettling presence in certain parts of the building. Some refuse to stay alone after dark. Despite modern renovations, the eerie energy remains. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the stories surrounding BBC Broadcasting House are hard to ignore. It's a place where the past meets the present, and where some voices may never leave the airwaves. Number 2, BBC Manchester, Oxford Road. BBC Manchester on Oxford Road may have been a hub for media and entertainment, but behind its buzzing studios and broadcast booths hid a chilling secret. It was one of the most haunted radio stations in the UK. This now closed building, which served the BBC for over 30 years, was home to countless paranormal stories told by staff, guests, and nighttime workers. The building itself was built on old land with a deep and mysterious past, and many believe that the spirits connected to it never truly left. One of the most terrifying legends is that of the ghostly children. Several workers reported hearing children laughing and running through empty hallways, especially late at night. But no children were ever found. Some even claimed to hear knocking and giggling through studio headphones during silent recordings. Another frequent sighting was a dark, shadowy figure often spotted in the basement and corridors. Steph described it as tall and silent, vanishing before their eyes. It was especially active during night shifts, causing some engineers to refuse to work alone. Lights would flicker without reason, doors would slam on their own, and cold drafts would appear in sealed rooms. Even experienced broadcasters spoke of sudden unease, a sense of being watched, or hearing whispers when no one else was around. The old lift was also a hotspot of paranormal activity. It would travel between floors on its own and open with no one inside. Some believed it was responding to unseen passengers. Though BBC Manchester's Oxford Road studios closed in 2011, the stories live on. For those who worked there, it wasn't just a building, it was a haunted maze of strange energies, lost voices, and lingering spirits from another time. Number 3, BBC Radio York. Hidden in the heart of one of England's most historic and haunted cities, BBC Radio York has earned a reputation not just for its broadcasts, but for its ghosts. Built on ancient ground with centuries of dark history, this radio station is believed by many to be one of the most haunted in the UK. The building that houses BBC Radio York stands on land once used for burials during medieval times. Some say the very soil beneath it holds restless spirits who never found peace. Staff and visitors alike have shared spine-chilling encounters that suggest something supernatural lingers in the walls. One of the most frightening stories involves a phantom figure in old monk's robes. Several night shift workers claim to have seen him silently gliding across hallways, vanishing through walls. No footsteps, no sound, just a sudden presence that leaves behind a wave of icy cold air. There are also regular reports of disembodied voices coming through studio speakers, whispers, murmurs, and even names being spoken when no one else is in the room. Engineers have tried to trace the source, but found nothing. These sounds often happen late at night or during early morning hours. Another chilling event happened in Studio 2, where lights flicker violently, chairs move on their own, and some presenters have felt unseen hands touch their shoulders during live shows. One radio host even left mid-broadcast, too terrified to continue. Even the equipment seems affected. Recordings mysteriously erase themselves. Doors open and slam without wind. Some staff refuse to be alone in the building after dark. Whether it's the spirits of York's medieval past or something else entirely, BBC Radio York remains a place where the air is thick, not just with radio waves, but with fear. Number 4, BBC Birmingham, the mailbox. Behind the modern glass and steel of the mailbox in Birmingham, home to BBC Birmingham, lies a chilling truth. This sleek, urban building hides a dark and ghostly presence. Despite its modern appearance, BBC staff have reported years of terrifying experiences, making it one of the most haunted radio stations in the UK. The mailbox itself stands on a site rich with industrial history and deep-rooted tragedy. Before it was transformed into a stylish broadcasting hub, this area was once home to Victorian factories, canals, and even wartime shelters. Many believe the ghosts of Birmingham's past never left. Inside the BBC studios, strange activity has become hard to ignore. Staff working late have reported hearing unexplained footsteps in empty corridors, doors slamming shut on their own, and sudden drops in temperature in completely sealed rooms. One of the most famous stories comes from the editing suites, where technicians claim to have seen the ghost of a man in 1940s clothing, silently standing in the corner, watching. He disappears the moment anyone tries to speak or move toward him. In the radio studios, presenters have heard phantom voices, whispers, and mutterings coming through their headphones during live broadcasts. These voices never appear in recordings, and no one else in the building can hear them. There are also disturbing tales of equipment turning on and off by itself, lights flickering in sequence as if something invisible is moving through the building, and even unseen hands brushing against people when they're completely alone. Though BBC Birmingham at the mailbox may look modern and inviting, those who've worked behind the scenes know a different story. A story filled with shadowy figures, eerie whispers, and a haunting presence that refuses to be ignored. Number 5, TalkSPORT Studios, London. Tucked away in London's Southwark district, TalkSPORT Studios might be known for fiery debates, live sports coverage, and big personalities, but behind the microphones and cameras lies a darker, more chilling side. Unseen by listeners and unspoken on air, this building is believed by many to be one of the most haunted radio stations in the UK. The studio is located in a building with a long and layered past. Once used as an industrial warehouse during the Victorian era, and later during the Blitz in WW, it's no surprise that strange energies might still linger within its walls. Over the years, staff have reported terrifying supernatural encounters, especially during the quieter late night and early morning hours. One of the most frequently reported events involves the haunted lift, which moves between floors entirely on its own. Workers have watched it open without anyone inside, sometimes even stopping at floors that are locked or unused. Some say they've seen a shadowy figure inside just before the doors close again. There have also been numerous claims of unseen footsteps echoing through the studio corridors, especially when the station is almost empty. Doors creak open without reason, chairs shift on their own, and some presenters have felt an icy breath on the back of their necks while speaking live on air. One overnight producer swore he saw a figure standing in the control room reflection, only to turn around and find no one there. Another claimed to hear whispers coming through the soundboard, voices that weren't part of any broadcast. While TalkSPORT delivers high-energy sports content every day, those who work behind the scenes know the eerie truth. Something or someone else may be tuning in from the other side. Number 6. Cam FM Cambridge. In the heart of the historic and mysterious city of Cambridge, Cam FM, the university's beloved student-run radio station, has gained a reputation not just for its creative content, but for being one of the most haunted radio stations in the UK. While its broadcasts entertain students and locals alike, what happens behind the mic when the lights go down is far more chilling. Cam FM operates from buildings with deep academic and architectural history, some dating back centuries. It's said that the very foundations of the station rest on land once associated with plague burials and secret religious rituals, laying the groundwork for decades of eerie encounters. One of the most well-known legends is of a ghostly scholar in old Cambridge robes, seen drifting silently through studio corridors late at night. Several students working the overnight shift have described the same haunting image, an older man with hollow eyes who vanishes through walls. The studio's main recording booth is said to be especially active. Presenters have reported hearing phantom footsteps circling the room while they're live on air, despite being completely alone. Static and unexplained interference has disrupted broadcasts, only to vanish the moment someone enters the room. In some cases, students claim to hear their own names whispered through their headphones, even when no one else is nearby. One former DJ left a live show mid-broadcast after a chilling cold hand brushed his neck, despite no one being in the studio. Storage rooms are avoided entirely by some, said to hold an unsettling energy in objects that move without explanation. Lights flicker, power surges without cause, and a constant feeling of being watched follows anyone working late. At CamFam, the ghosts of Cambridge's past don't just linger, they listen. Number 7. Radio 4th Edinburgh. Nestled in the historic city of Edinburgh, Radio 4th is a beloved radio station with a dark secret. Known for its rich programming and strong connection to the local community, Radio 4th is also said to be one of the most haunted radio stations in the UK, with spine-tingling stories passed down from staff and visitors. The building that houses Radio 4th is an old Georgian structure with a history reaching back centuries. Located near ancient burial grounds and sites steeped in Scottish history, the station is believed to be built on land with restless spirits. Many employees have experienced eerie encounters that are hard to explain. One of the most famous reports is of shadowy figures wandering the halls, often seen just out of the corner of the eye. Staff working late shifts have heard footsteps echoing through empty corridors and strange knocking sounds coming from locked rooms. In the studios themselves, people have reported doors opening and closing by themselves, lights flickering unexpectedly, and even mysterious cold spots in certain areas. Presenters sometimes hear unexplained whispers or voices in their headphones when no one else is around. Several broadcasters have shared stories of feeling a sudden chill or an invisible presence sitting beside them during quiet moments on air. Some say the spirit of a former occupant who died in the building many years ago still roams the premises. Despite modern renovations, the ghostly energy remains strong at Radio 4th. Whether it's the echoes of Edinburgh's haunted past or something more mysterious, this radio station is a place where history and the supernatural collide, making Radio 4th one of the UK's most haunted radio stations. Number 8. BBC Radio Ulster Belfast. Located in the heart of Belfast, BBC Radio Ulster is one of Northern Ireland's most respected broadcasting centres. But behind its polished reputation and modern facilities lies a dark and unsettling truth. This radio station is considered by many to be one of the most haunted in the UK. BBC Radio Ulster is housed in Broadcasting House, Belfast, a building with a long and complex history. Before becoming a media hub, the site was associated with political unrest, wartime operations, and even an old hospital, all of which have left behind an imprint of sorrow, fear, and, many believe, paranormal energy. One of the most chilling stories involves the ghost of a nurse in 1940s uniform, often seen wandering the lower levels of the building. She's described as calm, but eerily silent, appearing suddenly before vanishing into thin air. Some believe she's a leftover spirit from the building's rumored medical past. Staff working the night shift have also reported phantom footsteps, doors opening and closing by themselves, and strange tapping noises during live recordings. At times, unexplained voices have been picked up in studio audio, whispers and soft sobs that weren't coming from any living source. The main studio control room is believed to be a hotbed of activity. Engineers have experienced sudden power drops, cold blasts of air, and equipment failing without explanation. One technician claimed to feel a hand rest on his shoulder, yet no one was behind him. Elevators have moved on their own, lights flicker in patterns, and some rooms remain mysteriously cold, even with heating on full blast. Staff often refuse to stay alone after dark. BBC Radio Ulster may broadcast news and culture by day, but by night it becomes something else entirely, a haunted space echoing with the voices of the past. Number 9. Demon FM de Montfort University, Leicester. Hidden within the historic city of Leicester, Demon FM, the student radio station of de Montfort University, is known for its creative broadcasts and fresh talent. But beneath the soundboards and student voices lies something far more chilling. Demon FM has built a reputation not just for entertainment, but as one of the most haunted radio stations in the UK. Located in the Queen's Building, Demon FM operates in an area with a deep, often forgotten history. The land it stands on was once home to medieval buildings, and some parts of the university are said to have been built over plague burial grounds. That history, some believe, has stirred the energies that now haunt the station. One of the most frequently reported sightings is a shadowy figure seen late at night. Presenters staying after hours have claimed to see a dark silhouette standing silently in corners or passing quickly across the doorway, only to find no one there when they check. Others report hearing footsteps on the stairs, even when the building is locked. Inside the studio itself, lights flicker without reason, and cold spots appear in certain corners, especially during late-night broadcasts. Some students have felt as if they're being watched while on air, while others report equipment behaving strangely, including microphones turning on or off without any input. The former presenter once described hearing faint children's laughter echoing through the studio headphones during a pre-recorded music segment. Another student claimed that when alone in the editing suite, he felt an invisible hand brush past his face, freezing him in fear. Demon FM may bring student voices to life, but it seems some voices from beyond are trying to join the show too.